My name is Michael Schilf. I am the writer, director, and producer of a crime thriller called The Fixer. The Fixer follows the story of Jack Cross, who is an extorted Mafia enforcer who has to team up with the femme fatale hired gun who murdered his wife in order to save his daughter and liberate himself from an LA crime boss. Yeah, Danny Trejo is a co-star. A lot of people, when I give that synopsis, they think, oh, Trejo must be the sadistic LA crime boss. Couldn't be further from the truth. You get to see Trejo in a very different light. He's wearing an apron, and his weapon of choice is a ladle as he's making menudo. So I wanted to cast him off type. To be honest, it's a great question. It's one of the most interesting parts of pre-production. Originally, when I wrote the script, I had nobody in mind. But sometimes when I do write, I have a particular actor in mind. And in this case, I was thinking about Danny Trejo for the character of Benny. Never really thinking that I would get him, but it helps to put have an idea or a visual in your head as you're working on something. So when the script was done, I went to my manager. I said, okay, I'd like Danny to be in this. Let's at least try. I mean, if you don't try, you're not going to succeed, right? So after about 5-month courtship between the gatekeepers, his agent, and my representation, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, he said yes. And at the end of the day, it really came down to the material. He said, I love the script, I love the character, and Danny doesn't need to do a short film, especially with a first-time director. But, and this is a good lesson for any aspiring filmmaker, the material is the most important thing. Hitchcock said it, the 3 most important parts of a film are the script, and the script. And if you have great material, you can attract great talent. So it was great that we got Danny, but that created a different problem, which is a good problem. It tripled our budget. Having an A-list talent like that, he's not just an actor, he's also a brand in of itself. So that definitely, I had a decision to make. I could say no to Danny Trejo, who has agreed to be in my film, and stay with the budget originally, or I could decide to say yes and figure out a way to find more money. So I said yes, and as a producer, I went and found more money. And it wasn't easy, but it's easier to get money when you have star talent attached. So the rest of the cast was, once we had Danny attached, we were going out to a lot of other A-list actors to play the lead, primarily A-list TV stars. I can't really give the names, but some really high-profile people. And we had an actor attached 1 week before shooting, and he dropped out. And so we were like, oh my God, what do you do? And the thing is, I couldn't change the schedule because Danny Trejo was only available one particular Saturday for 4 hours. And he was in 2 different scenes. So I had to really manage that time. So fortunately, I was able to get an excellent casting director. Her name is Veronica. And 1,500 people auditioned for the role of Jack Cross, the main character. Wow. And there's no time for me to look at all that. So hence the casting director was essential. She gave me, and they were all done video, all virtual. All the auditions were virtual. She gave me 30 people to look at. I narrowed it down to 3 people. And the clock was ticking. And then I finally decided on the one person. And I was a little lukewarm about it. I didn't love it. He was good, but he wasn't great. And she said, you know what? Before you say yes, give me 1 more day. And 24 hours, and if I don't find anyone better, then you're going to go with that person. By this point, we're literally 3 days before principal photography. So it's hard for me to say, yeah, I'll give you 24 more hours. But anyway, I listened to my gut. I gave her 24 more hours. A last second audition came in by Jesse C. Boyd. And it was one of those things where, like, within 5 seconds, I knew right away, this is the guy. He was tailor-made for this role. And not only was he excellent, he was better, way better than the than the A-list actors that we were courting, and that one of whom had actually agreed to do it. So it was pretty stressful, the casting process, but in the end, it all worked out. So the original goal was always to make this as a proof of concept. But, you know, sometimes you see a proof of concept and that's what it feels like. It feels like a marketing tool for something else. If I was going to do it, I wanted it to be a self-contained narrative with a beginning, middle, and end that would succeed on its own in the film festival circuit, but I could also use as a marketing tool for the larger project. I've completed the pilot script. They've loved it. Series Bible is done, but it's the holidays. So the plan was always to use October, November, December through the festivals. And then after the holidays, in January, my reps will go out to networks and start pitching the series. I've written it as an 8-episode series arc, which would be perfect for like streaming services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, that kind of thing. It ends on a cliffhanger, okay? And not everybody loves that, especially when it comes to short films. But, you know, after I've already explained, the whole goal was a much larger project. Sometimes you have even Academy Award winning short films that win Oscars, they are only that. They're only going to be a short film. There's nothing ever, you can't really do anything else with them. So the short answer is I want the audience to feel like I want more. That's the whole point. I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger because you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? I'm so excited to see where these, where these characters go, because we end on this union, this agreement between opposing foes, really, to work together to accomplish a different thing. The reason why I chose television instead of feature, I love features, I love movies, but features for the most part are more plot driven. Doesn't mean you don't have complex, deep characters, but you only have 90 minutes to 2 hours, right? Versus a series, now I've got 8 hours to really get into the complexity of these characters. And the character is what I think is most important, that will really grab the audience. Thematically, it's about acceptance and forgiveness, which I think are two major things that we are dealing with all of the time. It's a fictional story in a mafia world, but it's an outsider being accepted into a mafia family, and I can relate to that personally because as a Caucasian male of European descent, I married into a Mexican family. My wife is Mexican. I'm always the only white guy in the room every time. And, that kind of thing didn't happen in 5 seconds. I am completely accepted and I'm one of the family, but it was a process. And I liked the idea of exploring acceptance in a genre piece. They are, I would say, for sure, the premier festival that has been able to adapt to this changing landscape. I mean, to a certain extent, they have a little advantage because it's coming later in the year. I mean, I do feel bad for some of those earlier festivals that were in March and April. They had no chance really to adapt. I mean, it was pretty much postponed or canceled. But yeah, no, HollyShorts is awesome, and it's so exciting to be part of an Oscar qualifying festival. The Fixer is in competition in this festival in the crime scene block with I think 9 or 10 other films all within that same genre, so crime, thriller kind of thing. And that is Thursday, November 12th at the 10 p.m. time slot. My name is Michael Schilf, Michael, last name Schilf, and you can find me on all the social media, Twitter at Michael Schilf, Instagram at Michael Schilf, Facebook at mschilf. And the film's webpage is on my webpage, Michael Schilf / The Fixer. When you see the film, it was quite a large undertaking. I mean, we shot it in 2 days, And that was 5 locations, an A-list celebrity that I only had for 4 hours, 2 driving sequences, a drone shot, a complete company move to a cemetery, and a dog. Okay, so that was a lot to do in 2 days. And we actually wrapped early both days. So I think if there's any advice I can give to aspiring filmmakers, you know, the majority of your success is going to be in the preparation. Prep. You know, if you prepare properly, shooting is easy, really, even when there's, you know, surprises that come, because you're so prepared. And the dog is actually my dog.